Whether a supercar enthusiast, I'm sure you've heard of Lamborghini. The brand name and value are so huge in today's world that it speaks for themselves. People are always looking forward to what unique feature that brand will upgrade in its new model, and it's the dream of millions of people across the globe to own it one day. But did you know that one of the top 10 largest and most renowned supercar manufacturing companies in the world was invented by a prisoner? And more surprisingly, what's the role another famous supercar making company owners played in it? Keep watching the video to the end to find out. But before we spill the beans on the story, make sure to subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to never miss any updates. Ferruccio Lamborghini, the man who made Lamborghini, was born in the northern part of Italy in the state of Ferrari in Emilia-Romagna on the 28th of April 1916 to parents Antonio Lamborghini and Evelina Lamborghini and Renazzo De Cento. His parents were grape agriculturists, assessing the quality and quantity of grapes used for making wine for a living, and raised him in their vineyards. They nurtured him to roll up his sleeves and work, inculcating the desire to make quality products in him. Ferruccio understood his parents' teaching and incorporated them in his heart, but not in the conventional way they had expected or even reckoned. He developed a keen interest in repairing their tractors rather than learning how to govern the farm. Apart from being disappointing, it also deemed a huge risk to drift from his family's business. But Ferruccio still took the risk to follow his passion. To pursue and explore his interest in mechanics, he decided to attend the Fratelli Italia Technological Institute situated close to Bologna. And to his father's despair, it was just the beginning. After graduating, Ferruccio never looked back. He started working with a proficient blacksmith and learned all his ironworking and welding tricks and techniques. But it wasn't sufficient to impress the employers of a major factory that he wanted to work in called Cavaliere Riggi, situated in his area. The factory specialized in the maintenance of the army's vehicles in Italy. Determined and persistent, Ferruccio kept trying to persuade the owner to employ him. Finally, after he turned 18, he left and retreated to his hometown in Redazzo, where he started a workshop with his close friend Marino Flippini. After a few years, he realized that this was laying brick toward using his passion for building his empire. But first, he needed to exit from his captor's prison. At the beginning of the Second World War, Ferruccio had to lose his carefree life. In 1940, he was inducted into the Royal Air Force in Italy, where he was allowed to work as a mechanic at the regiment on Greece's Rhodes Island. Italy renounced after 3 years. The German armies then deported the Italians and took over the regiment. Ferruccio wanted to stay and open his own workshop, so he asked for their permission. After 2 years, when the Allied forces came, they took everyone present in the regiment as captives, including Lamborghini. When they found out about his technical skill, they forced him to work on repairing their vehicles. Another year later, they permitted him to leave. But Ferruccio's initial years after his arrival back home were far from pleasant. Clelia, his wife, died while giving birth to a boy, later named Tonino, their only child. As a result, Ferruccio started keeping himself occupied at his workshop to pass the time, where he mainly repaired pre-war vehicles, tractors, and lorries. However, one day his father asked him urgently about needing a tractor. When Ferruccio accepted this request, he was hit with a realization that changed his life. Italy urgently needed to boost its farming production to regain from the negative economic consequences of the war, but it required a better tool to make that probable. Equipped with experience and knowledge by working with Allied and Axis carriers, Ferruccio purchased leftover military parts and utilized them to build new tractors. They were constructed with an ancient British Morris engine and revised to run on inexpensive diesel rather than expensive petrol. As a result, they were asserted to be more accessible and creative than anything people had created before. Later, Ferruccio launched a new company and named it Lamborghini Tractors. But although his tractors were in demand and selling well, he needed extra equity to increase production. To solve this problem, his father took a loan and used his farm as collateral. The chance Ferruccio and his father took with the farm was reimbursed in more ways than what was beyond both their expectations and imaginations. Shortly after, the company gained huge success and became the largest manufacturer in Italy of its kind. Lamborghini commemorated his achievement with fast cars, good food, and fine wine. He began to collect vehicles of brands like Maseratis, Mercedes, Ferraris, and Jaguars, but none of them seemed to completely gratify him or meet his expectations. He was especially dissatisfied with his Ferrari 250 GT because the clutch broke down almost regularly. One day, he took his Ferrari to a mechanic for repair and surprisingly found out that the clutch used in the model was similar to the one used in one of his tractors. Ferruccio did not take this revelation well, as he paid €10 to purchase the clutch used in his tractor and paid €1,000 euros for Ferrari for a similar part. So Ferruccio decided to let Enzo Ferrari know about the shortcomings he discovered in his car. Except for the clutches requiring regular repairs, they were deemed extremely noisy and ragged on the road. Enzo was not happy with Ferruccio's comment and brushed him off, insisting the issue wasn't with his company's car, but with Ferruccio himself. Enzo insults him by reminding and telling him that he's a tractor driver and a farmer and doesn't need to whine about Ferrari cars since they're the best cars in the world. Ferruccio replied by accepting being a farmer and promising Enzo to show how sports cars should be soon. After going home, Ferruccio was determined to substantiate what he was competent of. A lot of people called his desire crazy and thought he would waste his money, but Ferruccio did not differ from his goal. He went forward and launched a new company once again under his name. He employed 3 of Ferrari's ex-workers and purchased a huge plot of land to construct a factory. In only 9 months, Ferruccio successfully developed his first sports automobile, the Lamborghini 350 GT, which had his zodiac sign as a symbol. It was deemed a technical masterwork and comprised features like 4-wheel disc brakes, a V12 engine, 4-wheel independent suspension, and 5-speed transmission. It was revealed at the Turin Motor Show for the first time and received appreciation from both his customers and critics. Ferruccio proved to Ferrari and to anyone who doubted his capability that he wasn't only a farmer, but had the talent for building exceptional cars. Lamborghini's mechanical masterpiece was a refined car that was easy to operate and had a lot of elegance. Lamborghini's sports car and tractor business prospered during the next few years. He allowed his engineers to experiment with aspects of developing new models. His leadership attitude directed his team to build a confidential project, the MIURA P400 and 400 GT. It was envisioned as a street race automobile and became the first in history to be created with a posterior mid-engine layout. It was decided to keep a secret from Lamborghini since he wasn't in favor of building race cars. A few years before, Ferruccio participated in a famous race tournament and had an accident slamming into the side of a diner. When he found out about the project, he decided not to throw away the engineer's hard work. Luckily, it was one of the best decisions he'd ever made. The MIURA was a huge success and came to be recognized as the world's first ever supercar, with its posterior mid-engine layout becoming the ideal for all high-performance automobiles. Since then, Lamborghini has continued its success streak and launched more well-known models like the Huracan, the Islero, the Espada, the Countach, and the Jarama. They developed a reputation of being superior to other sports cars and retaining their originality without using other companies' parts. The engines in Lamborghinis are aspirated engines, which means they don't require the forced installation of the supercharger to work. As a result, Ferruccio has impacted the automotive world immensely, and Ferrari's insult fastened the process. Do you love supercars? Are you waiting for the announcement of the next model? We have come to the end of today's video. If you liked it, then press the thumbs up and share button. We'll be back again with more amazing content. Thanks for watching.